It's an old game in Montessori teacher education programs. Can you give your elevator speech about Montessori? That brief explanation of what we do that could fit into the length of time that it takes for your elevator to reach its floor. Can you explain Montessori and why you Montessori to grandparents, friends in the coffee shop, other parents on the playground? Most of us have the basics down. Montessori is a child-centered, individualized approach to education that relies on special, self-correcting materials and an environment that allows for more independence for each child. But as more people learn about Montessori, there are also more misconceptions to clarify. Isn't it that kumbaya place where kids can just do whatever they want? Or its counterpart, isn't it the place with really militant classrooms where children aren't ever allowed to play? A healthy Montessori classroom is right in between. Children enjoy freedom, but it's limited by its influence on others. Children's ability to choose their own work should be evident in the classroom, but so should their attentiveness to the other children around them. Aren't those silent classrooms where no one's allowed to talk? Montessori classrooms are often quiet because the children are paying attention to their work. But just as often, healthy Montessori classrooms are places with laughter and joy, conversation, audible eureka moments, and evident learning. Observers should be able to see both when they visit a classroom. Aren't those the classrooms that are just for fill in the blank? Rich kids, smart kids, elite kids, hippie kids? Montessori is a child-centered approach, so it responds to the needs of whatever children happen to comprise that particular classroom. There's nothing about the approach itself that makes it a better match for some children than others, although it may not always align well with an individual family's values. So while Montessori in theory should be right for all kids, it's still not always the best fit for families who may believe very different things about children or childhood, or who may not want to change those beliefs. Aren't those the classrooms where you decide for yourself whether or not you ever learned to read? Or its counterpart, aren't those the classrooms with super academic kids? The Montessori method meets every child where they are, which means that we can move forward academically as quickly as it's appropriate for the individual learner. Some children may be advanced in mathematics, some others may still be sounding out words in the language materials. Others may be really great readers, but struggle with the fine motor skills and spend more time in practical life. While we don't expect every child to be at the same point at the same time, we do watch carefully to make sure that we're meeting each child where they are and helping them to move ahead. Aren't Montessori schools only private schools? Well, actually not anymore. Montessori is one of the fastest growing models in public education, with about 10% of Montessori schools in the whole country serving in the public sector. My nephew, neighbor's kid, oldest daughter went to Montessori school and hated it, loved it, couldn't survive once she was in regular school, thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. There are over 20,000 Montessori schools in the world, so it's not hard to find someone who's been to one or enrolled a child there. But not all Montessori schools are the same. Because there's no trademark on the name, anyone who wants to use the name Montessori can open a Montessori school. That's why it's important to look at the accreditations and associations for the schools that you're considering, to understand teacher education or the lack thereof, and to really spend time in a school before you decide whether it's right for your child. One person's success in a particular Montessori school doesn't mean that all learners will thrive in all Montessori schools. Nor so does one person's rough experience mean that we should throw away the entire model. There will be others, to be sure. Montessori is a complicated method that depends on the transformation of adults to prepare environments that protect the intrinsic value of children. There are going to be times when we're misunderstood, and there will be times when we misunderstand. Montessori teachers should be comfortable talking about Montessori, though, and at ease when we're responding to people's questions and misconceptions. Respond to them the same way that you would respond to a child's misunderstanding, with a warm smile that encourages curiosity. Answer people's questions without judgment and invite them to come visit your classroom. The more the merrier.